so I can close out my fire.
Frank? What's happening, you guys?
You gotta be Dwayne.
Is it, that's Dwayne and Dwayne?
That's what.
How are you?
How you doing, Jeremy? Good yourself?
Long time no see.
What's going on? You can sit there. I'm just parking my stuff there for a minute. I saw you. Believe me, I'd much rather you be sitting in that chair than me.
How you doing?
Heard you were in the 5K.
Yeah.
Who was, Mike was?
Yeah.
Well, with those legs, he probably did that about 15 minutes.
It's something that took a couple of years back. My son was playing CrossFit. So I started running those, and now he's graduating, and I'm still doing it because I'm an idiot. So, actually, with my wife and I are going, Jesus, wow, it's over. Yeah, there's a, I'm not doing full sport, it's a 10K on Saturday, and a half marathon Sunday. Oh, no, we're doing a race, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we did the 5K here, did a 7 mile, we're still training on that, and yesterday went to road to the gap, did another 5K, so my legs are done.
This part, 176.4.
But I'm also, because, we're, a week and a half ago, we're off the fair. There's a sprint track. So you jump off the Cape May Ferry, that's 600 yards. You gotta swim to shore, then you do a bike, and then a 5K. Where's that? For the last, like, 3/4 of a mile. Where's that? On the 176.2? Actually, it's like a half a mile.
Sounds like fun.
It is awful. No, running with sand.
Running and sand, but you're all wet. Hopefully you drive out there.
You hopefully drive like that. But 176.2, like when you're on the ocean side, like you go to the beach, there's a nice bit of sand where it's not wet, but it's not soaking yet. No, the baseline is either dry or you're wrong. So, did I do it? It's all my kid's fault. So, he started it.
Okay.
Well, there's like, well, plus, every swim lane, like, in his cardboard, like, the people he's hanging out with on the swim team, they're all like, this guy does triathlon, and this guy is like 50 and still runs a 7-minute mile, and I'm like, yeah, I want to get off the couch. But, it was something. I said, well, either eat less snacks or do more exercise. And I like snacks. So I went with the exercise. But I still like snacks.
I love snacks.
We like snacks too.
Oh, I love them.
It just means 5 extra minutes on the treadmill. You still running?
Yeah. I was up there, we did the 75. My wife and son, I did the criteria class.
Okay. Okay. Nice and flat.
Yeah. It was a little wet.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wet into the afternoon. It was, but it was well attended though, man. Kept having a nice flow. People would leave, people would come. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we add that.
I just need to be tomorrow.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing? Good.
Oh, why is
Karen,
everybody?
you go to New York?
I didn't. I was.
That's a lot. It is, yeah.
Well, I have the riding shorts, so you don't have to see about this. No, I have the butter.
Yes.
Butter king.
Yeah. There she is. How many more?
Friday.
After 13 miles, I'm like, I'm done. I'm ready.
How was that place?
55 is serious.
Yeah, it's every.
Yeah, they added that one last minute. I didn't even get a chance to, I thought it was next week, and then
texting, Karen. I text.
Downhill's a lot more fun, but we start out on the hilly side, so we have to go over the Bed-Franklin Bridge to start out. So, how many people? 4,000. Last count that I did, we were 38. As a team, is 20. I did a while in, Facebook already was with the white guy, who's really the bike rider. He's down in Berks County School. The day I was, told him I was coming up, the bike was a snowstorm, shut down.
Hello, what?
Who's up?
Text, sorry, because he said, texted him about half an hour, he showed up. He said he was out.
You weren't here.
This is the day. So when you realize the sleep truck is like conversation. I know he, really nice, like, for Chris.
I just texted,
He had
said
this for
6:00.
$750, I bought it for $650, but maybe it was just $3,500.
Everybody's in a hurry.
You like that? That was quick too. Didn't even have to think about it. So before working with government, I had time to look at it.
Bring this meeting to order, City Council. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Zondo Dennis? Mr. Pinnabone?
Here.
Mrs. Rose?
Here.
Mr. Graziano?
Here.
Mrs. Hartraff Bittinger?
Here.
Mayor Panto?
Here. We'll go on to the committee discussions concerning the request for loading and uploading for handicap space for disabled clients being requested by Mr. Rich, the Director of the Private Industry Council.
Mayor, before we get started, I have one issue. I'd like to table F, G, and H. I know legally we don't have to advertise it, but public has reached out to me, I'm sure Crystal and Frank. They asked about the NIOSH, they asked about HDC. I told them it's not on the agenda. We didn't put it on until after 1 PM. It
Well,
doesn't look
it doesn't
good.
have to be on. It's a committee meeting. We're not making any decisions.
Yeah, but this is where the discussions take place, the updates. We're gonna hear from the chief allegedly, about update on practices going forward. That's a big issue for not only Easton, but all over, and it doesn't make us look good, Mayor. And I don't wanna get beat up from it from the press and the public because, and I'm telling people it's not on the agenda. I mean, we talked about it before. I'm looking to bring a resolution for council and yourself, Mayor, to look over that we put the things on the agenda and advertise within 24 hours to the public so they know, so they can weigh in on it. This is the most important part of the council. Is when
Well,
the
I'm
discussions
against
happen.
all of them, so I don't have a problem with it. I'm against any type of loading, unloading, 15-minute spots.
Well, wait, Mayor, I'm
Well,
not talking about that, though.
You're talking about A?
No, they were on the agenda. I'm talking about F, G, and H that just hit the agenda 32 o'clock today.
Let me add some clarity. The NIOSH report and the recommendations that were made, first of all, were discussed, and we did discuss them to council.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was an agreement from council that we were gonna come back at the next committee meeting.
Well, that's what
and-
was said.
And provide.
Absolutely.
And not just discuss what we already discussed, but put it in writing and submit it. So that's actually all that we have for you today. I instructed the chief just to submit the recommendations. So tomorrow at the report, you can say that you've received them, and you can then discuss them at a future time if you like. But at that point in time, really the chief's presentation regarding the NIOSH recommendations, and his written response is over. I mean, that's all
And,
we
and
have
I
to
know
say.
you mentioned it 2 weeks ago, but we published this, and Karen put it out on Saturday night. We published committee and regular, so the public, the press can see it, and if they want to be here, if they want to ask questions, what have you, we didn't do that.
Well,
And it just, and I'm not saying with the intent, I don't think the intent was to do anything wrong, but the perception is that we're trying to do things behind
My
the scenes.
recommendation is that the city clerk does not prepare an agenda for Tuesday night meetings. It's a committee meeting. We need to, if something major comes up that Mr. Graziano wants to talk about, he should talk about it at a committee meeting, not at a Wednesday night meeting.
But if there's an emergency, I totally agree with you, Mayor, but this is when the discussions happen.
Technically,
The committee meetings are when you work on things. Why we're excluding the public from that is beyond me.
I'll defer to council, but technically, we're not deliberating.
We're not deliberating.
These are just administrative, and according to the Sunshine Act and the law, you're just listening. There is no deliberation.
So, and like I said to you earlier, I can't speak to if we're breaking the law, because that's not what I have knowledge of. But I know we look like assholes to the public. I'm gonna be honest with
I'm
you.
gonna defer to our solicitor.
But I'm not talking about legal. I'm just saying publicly, like, our public should have a right to know when we're, especially something like
The
the
public
NIAID.
knows that we meet every Tuesday in committee and Wednesday in stated session. What else is there to know?
But I think we're overthinking that we're just submitting the NIOSH report. And also, it technically, there, on these items, especially if there's something on the agenda for tomorrow, we can review administratively what the issue may be. So therefore, then tomorrow night, you can deliberate on it.
But all discussions and work should be during committee, right? The council meetings, you vote, you may have some discussion, but we should be working through anything here in committee.
When you say working, do you mean deliberating?
Deliberating, working, discussing,
So then
Q&A.
I will defer to our solicitor regarding deliberating.
So what I would say is there's a difference between official action and deliberation, and receiving information. Essentially engaging in a conference where the council, in this case, receives information does not have to even occur at a public meeting. That can occur in any format. Whether it should occur in a public meeting is not within my realm to determine.
Correct.
Deliberation should happen, any matter that's going to be deliberated should be on an agenda, but you are not prohibited from deliberating. It's just, it's best practice to make sure that if you're going to deliberate is just discussion. It's discussion that moves towards making a decision. So deliberations should be listed on an agenda, but there's nothing to stop you from doing it if it wasn't on the agenda. It's just best practice.
So Mike, just-
Official action must be on the agenda.
So a legal question. Fire Chief Hennings presented us with 2 full pages of bullet points that he's gonna present tonight. So if we just sit here and keep our mouth shut, it was just a presentation, we're fine. But if any of us have a question about reinforced compliance with crew integrity and 2 in, 2 out procedures or something else, we're in deliberation.
That, it walks a fine line between.
You said to talk to the solicitor.
What I
He's
would say
telling you.
is that that does walk a fine line between when the conference stops and when deliberation starts.
And I'm not debating the legalities of it, right? That's just not what I have any knowledge in, right? So I'm not debating legalities of it. I'm just saying ethically, morally, the public should be included in the discussions. They should be able to at least know about it.
Then why do we have Tuesday night meetings?
To debate and go through everything, to do everything. And then you meet on your council, and that's when you have your votes. But the work should be taking place today. That's when we're debating, we're asking questions, we're getting answers. Then we decide if we're moving it forward for a vote. Then when the vote comes on Wednesday, we're voting on it. The decisions should be made here. The public should be heard here for the council members to formulate their opinion if they're going to move forward with a vote, yes or no.
Well, I discussed this with you earlier. I mean, if that's the action, if that's the way you want to conduct the council business, then my recommendation would put it toward some sort of formal resolution so you can,
Right.
so the administration has a better idea of what's what's expected.
And you
Because
did
as
tell me
of-
that.
Because as of right now, as of maybe the last couple times that you had brought it up, Mr. Pinnabone, I've never heard that, I've never heard that request come from city council, formally or informally.
In 28 years, I've never heard it.
Right, so I just want to make sure that, you know, we're operating under a certain,
Understood.
Under-
Well,
under-
per our conversation earlier, I agree with you, and I took your recommendation, so I'm gonna bring a resolution going forward. In the meantime, I'd ask that we table, F, G, and H.
well, I will say then, we'll discuss those tomorrow night in depth.
Can we get it on the agenda tonight so the public and the press and everybody else knows that we're gonna discuss it in depth?
It's under committee
For
report,
tomorrow.
it's under committee reports. You know, we don't have to submit an agenda for committee reports.
But it's being taken off the committee
No, that's what I'm saying, but I'm just saying, you're asking to put it on the agenda for tomorrow?
under discussions.
Well, we can do that under our committee reports. Or you can do it during the discussion period after you take your first and second. I mean, that's what, it makes no sense, like,
But
what?
what I'm saying is, and again, I'm not talking legalities. I'm talking about the right thing to do for the public. I'm asking if we can put it out there so when the public and the press and whoever else look at the agenda, they say, okay, that's nothing I'm interested in, so I'm not coming to the meeting, or that is something I'm interested in, whether I want to hear about it or I want to ask a question, I am going to come. By us not bringing it up until 6:20 or whenever we get to committee reports, it's too late for people to hear it.
I'm okay with that. Like I said, I would recommend if that's the practice that you're gonna do, I think that council has to discuss it amongst themselves, how they're gonna manage the information. The administration is just operating under precedent.
Right. I mean, look, OpenGov, and I'm not blaming Mr. Listenicki or anybody, but I saw the email come in about the OpenGov. I didn't even get a chance to open it. It came in like 2 o'clock. Like, I can't even have an educated discussion on it. I didn't even look at it. You know what I mean? Like, it should, you know, when, about a year ago, the mayor sent out an email that everything needs to be to Karen by Thursday so it could hit the agenda Friday. So, you know, it's Monday.
It is on the agenda for tomorrow. This was just.
So what did you send additionally?
I
didn't get a read.
clarification. So from Mr. Graziano, he asked a question, and
Okay.
I thought it would be good to share it with the rest of council because they were
No,
good questions.
that
so-
makes sense. I appreciate it. Like I said, I didn't get to open it. There was no time before the meeting, but I just think going forward,
I think the only reason,
transparency
so
is important.
I understand transparency, but sometimes there's a need just to have a conversation.
Agreed.
And so this is a good conversation, and I think what Mr. Lesnecki wanted to do, because it wasn't necessarily brought up as an item for discussion tonight, Mark wanted to proactively put it on your radar that it's on the agenda tomorrow prior to you coming into the meeting tomorrow. Now, I understand that you probably read the agenda in detail. He just wanted to have a conversation. Nothing precludes us.
I'm fine with that. I didn't see,
Nothing
like I said, I didn't see what you sent, so I'm
but
fine with that.
Nothing precludes us from having additional conversations, whether individually or in this committee workshop. I mean, it has been, and it's also been, I think, your understanding, and it's been my understanding too, in different experiences that I have had, is that with regards to the formal agenda and actions that a board has to take, usually in a committee, those items that are on the agenda are talked about here. Now, with regards to the NIOSH report and also the discussion with regards to the HDC, and in the NIOSH report is also the inspections. I mean, I thought we were clear that we were going to come back to the committee meeting and discuss them. So
Well, that's what we said at College
I-
of Presbyterian Church.
I
You
thought we were-
absolutely said it,
So
but
I don't know why they're not on here.
I don't know either.
The other
I don't
thing
set the
that
agenda.
we discussed during committee was that we were going to, I was told that we were taking a look and John and Mark, were you guys going to come back with some fee recommendations at different tier? We're going to talk about stepping back and seeing,
We have those too.
do we have that prepared for today?
We did not, it's not on the agenda, so no, we didn't have it for today, but we were getting ready to basically
We
finalize
have
it
it.
late last week. Yes, so we do have it, so we can send that to council and have it, discuss it at
Okay,
the
I
next
thought we
meeting.
were going to discuss that today as well.
So I need to be informed.
Because,
who's in
because
charge of
at
putting-
the last council meeting, I asked
Not
that we have
council.
that on the committee
We don't set the
meeting.
agenda.
No, but if council sets legislation.
When
like-
have you ever been denied anything you want on the agenda?
He's asking me who puts it on,
But
not
who-
me.
Well, you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
When you say, 2 weeks ago, you did say, we're gonna discuss it in 2 weeks. So that's all the more reason for me to believe it should have been on the committee agenda with everything else. When I updated when I did the handicap and the accessible, I went to the mayor, got his approval, had the director send it to Carol, and we got, Karen, sorry, and we got it on tonight's agenda for committee to have the discussion tomorrow for the vote.
Frank, I know this is your format. You want to follow this. So I know you want to put everything on the committee agenda. I'm just, when we talk about it, there's a disconnect here.
Right.
And I'm just going to be honest with
Well,
you.
the disconnect is that sometimes, like today, OpenGov, I just was updated on that yesterday.
Again, Mayor, I don't think, I know you, I know the directors, I know Karen, I don't think anybody's doing it intentionally to hide anything, but if the mayor just got it yesterday, right, put it on for 2 weeks. If it's not an emergency, put it on for 2 weeks. Let us all have a chance to digest it, let the public have a chance to hear what's going on and make recommendations, instead of waiting till the night of the meeting when we have to make a vote.
I would agree with that. I think sometimes it would be good to have the discussion at committee, have time to read, ask questions, because also our tomorrow's agenda came fairly late, and so like I was playing catch up on my lunch break today. We all have jobs and everything too, and you want to make sure before we're voting on something that we have the full context.
Yeah, I agree with other Frank as well. It's one thing having conversations during a meeting, but I think when we have bigger topics like this that everybody's focusing on, I agree. I think it should be, I think it should be on the agenda beforehand so everybody could see it.
Now, when you asked me, say, put it on the agenda beforehand, you also said put it on 24 hours beforehand.
Well,
So now,
my
is
understanding.
24 hours enough to talk
My
about big
my
subjects?
understanding is we're talking about two different things.
Okay, I'm talking about committee meetings.
Yeah, I'd like to get them on Fridays if possible. So with my work schedule and family, I have time to review it and be able to participate with some type of education on the topic at committee. But for the public, my understanding is you should advertise it within 24 hours of the meeting for the public. For us to review, I'd like to get it on a Friday so we can dig through and formulate some questions and have an understanding before we get to committee. But the public, 24 hours, they should know, because I know people in the public that check the agenda Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Okay, there's nothing on there. They're really interested in NIOSH. I got a call, hey, I don't see NIOSH on the agenda. Yeah, it's not there. I didn't know it was being discussed till about 1:30 today.
You're talking about committee meetings, though.
A committee.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not, but it wasn't on the committee. Karen put committee agenda on as well as council meeting on. It wasn't anywhere, so I'm assuming we're not discussing it. Then to find out today, nobody knew we were discussing it, so people that wanted to hear and wanted to weigh in. I mean, last committee meeting, you had firefighters here, you had individuals here. There's nobody here. Nobody knew we were discussing it.
Except at the last meeting, we closed it out, and I was under the impression that the administration was going to come back and speak to, not only in writing, because we did verbally, in writing, submit a report with regards to what the fire department is doing under the NIOSH recommendations. I think that was pretty straightforward. And the other thing it was, and I think we reiterated twice, we said it at the committee meeting, and then I said it again at our council meeting under my report, that we were going to submit a report that looked at both the high-risk occupancy structures versus what has been inspected throughout the city. I don't know what else to say other than we were going to discuss that tonight. I thought it was very clear. I even confirmed it with Councilwoman Rose.
To us.
Yes.
At the council meeting, we heard that you were going to bring it back tonight.
That's right.
But publicly, we didn't. And I don't remember hearing at the last
well,
committee meeting, evaluate and expand Easton Police operational roles during large-scale incidents, which is a great idea, but I don't remember us discussing that. So that's something new that we haven't discussed. So
he was just submitting he was
right,
like I said,
just a report.
And then the final thing is that we were going to discuss, because there was a table on the HDC proposal And so.
That I was expecting on the committee meeting. I was disappointed to see it off the council agenda, but I'm thankful to Karen for getting it back on before the 24-hour period.
That's fine. I don't, yeah, like, but the whole point was that we were gonna come back, to committee and discuss, our findings.
Right.
That's all.
That, and I don't have an issue with that. I guess what I'm saying is we need to make sure the public is aware of what we're discussing. And they need to have an opportunity to weigh in or just to listen
But
and
how
hear
is-
their feedback so we could decide what
How
we're
was
doing.
that missed, though? Like, how did we miss that?
I think it just simply needs to be on the agenda, that's all. I think that's the only thing that we're saying
What's
here
the
is it
question?
should
How
be
did
on
we
the
miss it?
agenda
Who
Who
beforehand.
puts it on the agenda? Was it?
The
was it
administration, not the council
That-
members.
That was the administration should go to the clerk and put it on the agenda? I'm just
If
curious.
you're saying we're bringing this up at the next committee meeting, then
Yes.
I would say it's your obligation to make sure it's on the agenda. Like the other directors, it's up to them to make sure that Karen has whatever they need on the agenda by Thursday. So if you guys, if the chief and yourself and whoever else are bringing these recommendations in, then it's somebody's responsibility to get it on the agenda so we can have the discussion about it and
It's
advertise it.
not council members.
I mean,
If I'm bringing something, I make sure it's on the agenda. But if I don't know what your plan is or how you're moving, there's been things that we were gonna put on the agenda that we didn't because you guys weren't ready yet. I mean, when I look at tomorrow's agenda, I didn't put anything on tomorrow's agenda except for two things. The rest of the agenda I didn't put on.
All right, that's fair. I'm just getting clarity.
Yeah. I asked the mayor and then with his permission, go to Karen to put things on that I'm working on, that I'm bringing forward, but I don't know what you're doing.
That's correct.
It should be, yes.
I would like to suggest that we do A, B, and C, or D rather, I'm sorry, A, B, and D. We table them until the administration can come back with some semblance of order between a handicap accessory, a handicap accessible space, a loading, unloading zone. And right now, because right now, Siegel Museum is asking for a handicap spot in the front on a 300 block of, North Hammond Street, and they have a loading, unloading zone in the back where they park all the time.
Yeah, but they have steps and it's closed off for deliveries. You can't ask handicapped individuals to climb up the steps and go over.
Then they put a ramp in.
I mean, should this be part of the parking study?
I suggested we put it on today at the staff meeting.
I mean, we can add it.
I mean, if the council
I,
wants
I
to
think
table
since
it.
we're doing the parking study anyway, it would help maybe give us some data to clarify like what our strategic direction should be with those spots, perhaps. I am starting to get a little nervous because we're getting more and more some on the same blocks now
we're
too,
gonna
and that's
get a
really
lot
going
more.
to impact parking.
We're gonna get a lot more, because everybody's gonna get one, everybody wants one.
Well, there was handicap spots on Northampton before they reconfigured and they got rid of all the handicap spots.
Yeah, but we have handicap spots in areas where don't even have a ramp, so you can't get onto the curb, onto the sidewalk from your car, if you're in a wheelchair. I mean, we should look at those types of things.
I'm fine with looking at it.
Can I ask a question? I've actually always wondered this and I never dug into it. The Private Industry Council, what is it?
I don't know what they do today.
It's right around the corner from
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah, I don't know what they do today, but they
I
used to
never
be,
see
they used
anyone
to
in
hire
there.
pick workers.
Yeah, and they used to have classes there for them.
Yeah, they still have classes there.
I've never seen anyone go in or out of that building.
So Mayor, for clarification, you're asking to table A, B,
And D.
and D.
We don't have an agenda.
For example, the county has asked us to put all the meters around during their construction of the docking down to the parking garage, all their meters at an hour. Well, in my mind, no disrespect, Mike, but in my mind, the only person that would be in the courthouse for an hour would be lawyers at a hearing. I don't know why they need maybe we're in 15 minutes, they need 30 minutes, but I don't know why they would need an hour. And I know I keep preaching this, but it's about revenue. We would lose all that revenue. They would be parked here all day.
Is it, Mayor, is it because of the construction that already take place?
Yeah, that's what they said. And I have no problem changing it for the county. I just want to know what we should, it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes? I don't know.
We don't know the purpose of why.
No, they didn't say. They just,
There's,
Because they're knocking down the parking garage.
There-
well,
yeah,
There's a
I know,
packet
I know
here,
they're during construction,
And they're saying those people that would normally park there are gonna have to park on the road. and
I
they're
know
not gonna
that.
Spend that much.
but they also have lots that are empty.
look at the one labeled
B.
D at the top.
Yeah. There's a packet in here from the county.
On here?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Yeah, there's a letter D in red.
Oh, gotcha.
Email from Jason Hazelton, Public Works.
First time seeing this.
Do we need to do a motion and a vote to table?
No, we'll just take it off the agenda.
You can't,
No sense in having an agenda.
can't vote on it. You can't deliberate, like you can't vote.
Well, I didn't know how we get it off, that's all.
We don't discuss it.
Sounds good.
So that means tomorrow, officially, you'll take action.
To table it,
Well, table it short term. You're just gonna have to take it off.
yeah.
Because this is probably gonna go, we're either gonna look at it or it's gonna be part of the parking study. Because this specifically was not part of the parking study, which is on the website today. So we officially rolled it out, the RFP.
How many people do you anticipate applying, or organizations? Is that something that usually draws a big group?
Three,
Yeah,
2 to 3.
yeah, we have to go out and reach out to folks. I'm gonna, again, see, this is fluid, right? I'm gonna be at a parking, myself and Dave Hopkins are gonna be at a parking conference in Bethlehem tomorrow and then the following day. So my hope is that around lunchtime, like usually go see the vendors, I'm gonna go look for additional parking consultants. I've already received less than a handful, only 2 actually, recommended parking consultants that other cities have used. So, we sent it out today, but it's formally on the website.
Sounds good, thank you.
So can you edit it on the website to include the
Yeah, we have,
handicap parking study?
we could change the scope. I have I have language in there that allows us to change scope, so that's
Okay.
that's okay, because I'm gonna need, it's fluid, it's not in like a box, because you don't know what's gonna come up.
Well, it's moving part.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Gotcha.
once I get a proposal for about probably 95 to 98% of it, then I could add or subtract, because I also want to stay within a budget. So
Gotcha.
that's the other thing.
Okay.
All right,
What do we have left?
All right, Mr. Pinnabone, your accessible handicap space,
that's off.
that's off. Your housing, bill number 12.
Thank you, Mayor. So after discussions and last council meeting, I went back to the drawing board, and you'll see one of the changes I made was the 30% not to exceed, rent is not to exceed 30% of yearly gross income, utilities included. You'll also note that today I added a word to it, the word heat, H-E-A-T. Apparently, utilities doesn't necessarily mean heat if it's oil heat. So even though we're not, I see our solicitor shaking his head. I didn't know that. I thought when we said utilities, we're talking about heat, electric, gas, but we're not. So I added heat there. So the big change is 30% would include all utilities. In addition, we added studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 and 3. I know a lot of development, we're not getting 3 bedrooms, but, possibly it could, and we don't have to go back and redo it. For the studio and efficiency, units should be affordable to households making no more than 75% of the median income. And then we go up to 95% for the 3 bedrooms. And what is the same as my original presentation, I'm not using the area median income as Lehigh Valley, because we know that areas such as Palmer and Forks and Saucon Valley, Parkland, so on, drive up the median income, so we're only basing it on the city of Easton, Southside, Downtown, West Ward, and College Hill. So those are the only changes. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. And, I'm sorry.
Price per unit went up, didn't it, from 25 to 30?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mayor, thank you. It's still, they have to allocate 25% of the units to workforce housing, and I did increase the fee from $25,000 a door to $30,000 as their opt-out. So that was the change.
Anybody have any discussion on that? Since it was on the agenda, I want to make sure it's get discussion. I will be voting in favor of that.
You will or won't?
I will be.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
I also will be, I like the change that we have, the information that came forth was important, that, when we change the median income from year to year when they come in, 'cause normally what happens is that you do a yearly. And if their social security would change, in my case, if their social security would change, it always would mean that the tenant's rent will go up, but it's really flush, it's staying with the 30% of the.
I want to make sure that we put somebody in the administration in charge of the annual review, because I remember when the city still owns 4, where you grew up, Restlawn. Don't ask me why they called it Restlawn, but they called it Restlawn. That's where you die. But well,
I'll be quiet about that.
okay, they were supposed to put up the rate every year, commensurate with the code, and we never put it up, and we owned it, and people were paying the same rent they were paying there back in the 60s.
Mayor, I do have a question. You said you want the city to oversee it. So according to the plan, Home Easton
Yeah, Home
was
Easton's
going to oversee. Is
fine.
that okay? All
Yeah,
right.
it's
So
fine.
Home Easton will make sure that the building owners are compliant and they're renting to the right people and collecting the fees and those things.
I just want to,
But what are they using for that? I'm sorry, a model lease for that? Using a model lease?
I don't know if they're using a model lease or not. They should, because the model lease is the one that Penrose did over at Nesson Heights. That's the best one around.
We just saying.
But I just want to remind people that if I'm living in a building and you're putting people who with affordable rent in that building, same building, you destroyed that building to an extent. Now, I have no problem with that because I grew up in public housing, so we had people who were a lot poorer than my dad and I, our family. But you take that building over there, you put 10% occupancy or 25% occupancy, affordable, and it changes the complexion of that project.
I don't know. Mayor, I don't even know what to say on that. Mayor, I don't believe that just because a person doesn't make a lot of money means that they're going to bring down the property or they're not
I
good
certainly
people.
agree. I think I'm an example of that, but I certainly agree with that comment, but that's not the case in all cases. It's going to be up to the landlords to do their homework, like we did. Credit check, police crime check. I mean, that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
And most of them do that now anyway. That's
Yeah, they're-
one of the requirements is do that.
Well, and also, Mayor, if you look at the rates, you know, you're down into the high 40s for an efficiency. So, you know, I mean,
that's
these
the
are
way it works.
these are people that are working that, you know, that unfortunately they're busting their butts like everybody and they're just not making enough money. So,
I agree.
They should be able
I
to
have no
live
problem
there,
with
too,
I have no problem with the ordinance.
all right. Looks like that's all we have.
All right.
You took everything else on?
Everything else off the agenda?
Bill number
No, the health
11.
code.
The health code.
Health code. Dwayne,
We'll have Jared explain it.
Jared's gonna explain it? He's too new.
Come on, we gotta bring him in sometime.
Throw a pitch out.
Well, you're coming off of a big weekend. It was a good weekend, but it was a big weekend.
So, make sure your mic's on, Jared.
I'm usually up there, sorry. So I'm just submitting some ticket increases, and then a late fee on our temporary licenses for the council to hear. It would help encourage just enforcement out and repeat offenders of violations. There's 2 classifications of violations, risk factors and good retail. I did send out an email, hopefully everybody got it. I'm not sure if it was forwarded on, but basically the 2 classifications are risk factors, which are known to make people very sick very fast, foodborne illnesses, and then good retail. So good retail is basically just keeping up with the business, cleaning, physical facilities, simple things every owner should be doing.
Do we do, I'm sorry to cut you off. Do we do grease traps, anything like that?
So grease traps would fall under the code as well. Placement and everything else wouldn't be in my
They're horrible.
purview. But the cleaning and things like that and making sure they're functional, yes.
Okay, thank you.
They're horrible to clean.
Yeah, they are.
I cleaned them at the store. They're horrible. They stink.
So that would be the first part of what I submitted, and then the second part would just be a late fee added on to just temporary licenses. There is a significant amount of vendors that don't get in applications in a good amount of time for me to review, and it provides collecting in the field, and with larger events, anything over 5 vendors, it's extending the inspection times quite significantly, and then it doesn't allow to make sure the city is protected.
Jared, when you say a lot of vendors don't submit it in enough time for you to do your review, when does it call to be submitted now?
So currently, there is nothing in writing. I typically tell my organizers, hey, try to get it 5 days to 2 weeks in advance, business days, so 10 business days.
Okay.
I can tell you off the last event, I had the current event coming up this weekend. Let me talk about that one because I know the numbers. I only have 4 complete out of 25. And we're Tuesday for a Saturday event.
So you're gonna stipulate you want 10 business days. After, if they're within 10, less than 10, they're gonna be charged late fee?
I stated five
Okay,
business
5,
days
okay.
on the ordinance update.
Okay.
I think 5 is significant enough for me because that typically most events are weekends, right? So having Monday, getting them riled in and getting everything submitted on Monday would give me significant time.
I'm working on the pub crawl ordinance right now, and that calls for if it's between 5 and 100, or no, 5 and 250, it's 30 days in advance. And if it's over 250, it's 60 days in advance. So we might want to make them commensurate and same.
That,
No,
I
I'm
would,
talking about people.
I would go with whatever is more congruent.
Okay. How was your weekend? How are the vendors at the crit?
It's the start of a season, to say frankly.
Were the vendors cooperative?
Oh, vendors are always cooperative. We have a good group here in Easton. Everybody needs a reminder here and there.
That's a good way to put that. Very
Nice.
Anything else for Jared?
Let me see. No, Mayor.
No, as I mentioned before, I thought we were going to be talking about fees tonight, and I think there are a few people who wanted to speak about with their experience, if we could give them a minute.
What was on the agenda?
Well,
I don't mind.
I mean, we had asked.
I don't mind them speaking on
They are here
non-agenda
because
items, but I don't know
At
how
the
we
last
can.
council meeting, we did say we were going to discuss it at this meeting.
I
so
agree, but we didn't
that's
put
part
nothing
of
on the
it.
agenda. I mean, we could hear non-agenda items, they could speak, but I don't think we
Yeah.
should be going back and forth.
I
just
mean, if we
because-
could do that, or at the end of the meeting, I'd like to request that.
What?
I just like to, I want to say, Karen, you hear during council meetings that an item should be discussed on the agenda. Can you take note so you can put that on your list?
I was doing that,
Okay, what was,
but I need follow-up on that because they discussed making changes and coming to the committee meeting with changes, and I never hear anything again, and then the meetings have been canceled
all
a
right.
lot in the
So-
last 6 months.
So what do you think you need to make?
I need an email from whomever is putting want to put something on the committee meeting.
Who's they? Is it
Whoever
administration or
requests it.
council?
Administration, council, anyone. I need to know that you want to add something to the committee meeting agenda.
Okay, so this
I
has,
don't take for granted anymore that just because you mentioned it in the meeting, because no one ever followed up on that, ever.
okay,
And you wouldn't hear about it again
On what?
on any topics. Like if you discuss something in council and someone said, well, we'll discuss it in the next committee meeting or the next council meeting, this subject, and I can't give you an example off the top of my head, but it never comes up again. We don't hear about it. And I would start preparing the agenda based on that, and then the meeting is canceled, or I don't hear of any updates, or I'm not giving any direction as to whether you're still going to follow through with that.
I mean, I think this, I think that this is a good discussion, like and it's not like you had said, Frank, this is just a good opportunity to express that there's just a better way of
Let me
working.
formulate a process.
All right.
the email comes to me as a chair that they want to put something on the agenda, and then I will meet with Karen to determine whether that goes on or not.
That's how it always was, right?
Okay.
That's the way it always was, but I don't get any emails from anybody.
By Thursday. before the
Wednesday.
By
meeting.
Thursday before the meeting.
Wednesday is the deadline, Wednesday by
Wednesday?
4 o'clock.
Wednesday by 4.
Now it's Wednesday now?
It's always
It's been Wednesday.
Never.
Well, when I first got here, it was Friday, then we
Thursday.
pushed it
No,
to Thursday.
We've been doing Wednesday at 4, and then if you have any additional changes for that particular,
Well, for committee,
You
so
know.
your committee is gonna go that early?
I mean,
Why don't I, Mayor, I'll work with you to put a resolution together, a policy, if you will, that can detail how we work together, because it really should go through the committee chairs
Director of the department. too.
and the directors of the department. It's a two-way street. Like, it's not that one leads the other, but the two should be working in tandem. Just it makes things a lot easier, because right now, I agree with all the statements. I just want to put a policy together that makes it a little bit easier.
I guess the way this council has worked in the past is that committee meetings, no deliberations are done, no decisions are made. It's just like an executive session. We don't have any decisions. But we go into executive session because it's a confidential, topic.
Well, in the executive session too, I mean, we don't, I think it's on a similar vein, but a little bit different scenario. But in generally speaking, we can talk about two items, real estate or personnel, right?
Correct.
Acquisition.
Or litigation.
Sale or disposition or litigation or personnel, there's several items.
Just a
And it-
reminder, tomorrow night, you should have got an email from me. 5:30 is a executive session. We're up at the neighborhood center, so we'll have to find a room where we can meet in private.
We are?
wait, what?
Since you, Mayor,
Tomorrow?
no, that's first week in June. We're here
That's-
tomorrow.
Oh, we're here
yeah.
tomorrow. Oh, good.
Yes, we're here tomorrow.
Okay. So, Mayor, I'll work with you to put together a policy, and then maybe we can circulate it to the council members. I mean, we'd like to discuss it at a committee meeting, but at the expense of it not popping up on a committee agenda.
Okay.
I'm just gonna circulate it to everyone.
I wanted to say too, just in reference to, Mrs. Director, Lazinski, in reference to OpenGov, I did have opportunity to speak with him not once but twice in reference to it, so I was looking forward to this being discussed a little longer, but I do understand council's, concerns about it also, but I wasn't, updated and told, and we spoke about what was going on and what we spoke about last, committee and council meeting.
I'm not, just for the record, I'm not saying that the administration is not informing council members. I'm talking about the public that have a right to know what's on the agenda so
I
they can
understand what
come
you're
and weigh in.
saying.
Yeah, I
that's all.
understand. Well, I mean, I appreciate that. I understand the public component of it. That's why I don't argue against that. I think it makes sense. It's a good idea. It's like I told you, it's not necessary, but I understand why you want to do it, and that makes sense.
I think sometimes it gets hard. I know for me, when we have something on the agenda, tomorrow we're gonna vote on it, right? So we come in tomorrow, you don't know what you don't know, right? Now, somebody else who might have more experience in that matter, they make a comment. Now I gotta process their comment and vote a couple minutes later. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time for everybody to weigh in and prepare for the vote, so.
I don't think we should dwell on it too much more. We'll just I want to have a policy so it's easier for us to follow. I am gonna say that maybe the agenda should be, we had a short week this week. I mean, maybe the committee agenda should be finalized by Friday. That's all. I don't think it has to be in by like a Wednesday, but I could be wrong. I'm just gauging opinions.
That seems fair because we may, it just gives some time to throw something on for discussion. I think that seems reasonable.
Okay.
Because you're not going to be providing things for a packet or thing, it's just Tuesday's discussion. Yeah.
Well, it's the other point is, it's an administrative update, like it's an administrative discussion.
Right.
So, we'll work on something and we'll send it out. I mean, I
Get it
think,
out.
yeah, we'll send something out.
Anything else? Louis?
No.
Mark? Dwayne?
Did Didn't you want the public to speak that was here?
On fees.
If anyone has anything
we're
to
gonna
say
open up
about
the public now.
fees.
Yeah, okay.
Time's up.
I know you guys all listened to me last 2 weeks ago, so I
2 weeks
appreciate
ago.
your
We
time.
appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
I was unaware of Jared's proposal, so my matter has kind of shifted again because I encourage you to seriously consider it before it gets put into place, before you vote on that, because like I had stated in the last council meeting, health fee went up 66.7% from last year to this year. So it used to be $45 a day, and now it's $75 a day. Okay, fees go up, and I was okay with it because it said that the fees were going towards the health department to help grow it, possibly get another health inspector. We're one of the cities with the most festivals, and we have one guy who runs around with his chicken with his head cut off. So we pay all this money, now he wants to invoke the late fee, which granted, because he's doing so much work, but as a business owner, I mean, there was one festival 2 years ago, Joe came to my tent and stopped me from setting up because I forgot to fill out my health fee. And I had to pay him on site, and we had to do this whole thing. It slips my mind, and, you know, granted, okay, there should be some kind of late fee, but now the fees are really high. And nothing was discussed regarding some kind of tiering program, which was told that the finance department might.
We did discuss the tiering and,
Right. But that needs to be discussed before a late fee imposed.
but businesses
too.
who have a business in Easton
Yes,
get a, what is the percentage rate? 33% off?
never. I've never gotten a discount on health
No,
fee.
no, we're just starting it.
Okay.
We're just discussing this now.
Okay.
Well, we haven't rolled
It
it out
hasn't
yet.
been
but we-
presented
And the
yet.
first
We have a
festival
draft.
is Saturday.
We have a draft,
Or-
and we
yeah.
took your input.
Yeah.
Like Mark and company
Yeah,
took your input into consideration, which was good.
okay.
But,
Food truck.
we have a,
Obviously-
we have a draft that's, just has
Yeah.
to be presented to council.
I guess my concern is how are you gonna impose a late, you're gonna vote on a late fee tomorrow and then vote again on a tiering program? Like, you gotta put
We're
it
gonna
all,
vote on
it
it at
all
the
has
same
to be
time.
together.
It'll be
Yeah,
together.
no,
It
it
has
should,
to be
you're right.
together.
It should be tabled and brought together.
It's not on the agenda
It,
tomorrow.
I am taking more festivals in Bethlehem, I'll be honest with you. Compared to Easton to Bethlehem, this year I'm doing more in Bethlehem, their fees are less.
No, just
And I
tonight.
love the city, and we've been here 15 years, I'm the oldest bakery besides Easton Baking. We've been here 15 years, and I will do any festival in the city, but it has cost me almost $5,000 to do all the festivals this year, and I can't anymore. So, some kind of tiering program, some kind of discount, I would appreciate anything, but I just want to make sure everything, I think that all of your intentions are good, everything that you guys have done is good, but sometimes you just jump, it's just like, oh, let's do this, and they're like, okay, vote, okay, well, like, what about the business owners? And I just want you guys all to, like, take everything into account.
Well,
That's all
this
I'm saying.
morning we talked about the same thing with that downtown Easton is a business district.
Yeah.
It is our business district,
Yeah.
but it's also a neighborhood.
Of course.
And that's the reason for the pub crawl ordinance. But Saturday night, there was no parking in downtown Easton. So all the restaurants were hurting because people go to a restaurant, they can't get in.
Right,
They can't park.
yeah,
So we're gonna look at that more carefully next year.
okay.
Mayor, when you look at that, can the administration also look at just what it costs the city? And I know we talked about it last year, what it costs the city per event? Because I think that has a lot to do with fees as well. I've said it numerous times, I'm not looking at the city to make a profit, but we shouldn't be taking a loss and putting events on the back of the taxpayers. So if we can look at what we're spending versus what we're netting, that would help us on fees a lot as well.
We spend more on small events than we do on large events because the net loss on a small event is
Greater,
greater.
yeah,
But when you have 150 vendors,
yeah.
you make money. You don't make money. Our parking makes the money. We break even. We make enough on parking to cover all the overtime.
Well, this year, you will see an increase with your festival fee. Remember the $50 we were talking about? And I know that we talked to the solicitor about not being able to not charge people, so maybe some kind of discount along the lines of $50 for out-of-towners or $50 for us and $75 for out-of-towners. Yeah, you want to cover your costs. I understand that there's fees, and I think, my friends and the business owners in town understand there are fees, but it comes to, like, we're here, we make people come to see us.
Yeah.
They don't come to see you guys, no offense. So, like, we may, it just help us out a little bit.
No, we're gonna
That's all.
hear from other than the retailers, we're gonna hear from the restaurants very shortly.
Okay.
Because they're all getting a little bit upset. Saturday night was very difficult to eat in downtown Easton.
Yeah,
And they usually attract about 5,000 people a weekend.
yeah.
a weekend night.
I was out on Saturday night and the restaurants were full too. So they found, people
Were, but they
figured
got
it out.
complaints. I got 3 complaints at home about the roads being shut. The only thing that shuts down all of downtown is the bike race.
Yeah.
We have a rule now, we never close the Ring Road and Larry Holmes Drive. That's why Heritage Day is mad at us, because they said, no, you're not shutting down Larry Holmes Drive an hour, 2 hours before you open up
Yeah.
the Ring Road. You need to be able to traverse downtown East.
And there are a lot of logistics, and I won't, we won't go tit for tat. Regarding fees, I want you guys to really take into consideration everything before just like, yeah, let's vote.
Well, the
on
one
this.
thing we're gonna take into consideration from now on is if they have a brick and mortar in downtown Easton, they get a reduced rate.
Okay.
I think
Because we're
that's
not gonna
fair.
cater to out-of-towners.
Mayor, and I do agree with her, we need to look at everything before we discuss fees, so if we can find out what we put in versus what comes back and everything else, we need to know the whole thing.
It's health fees.
Right.
I know the farmer, like, no disrespect to the farmer's market, they get a big discount on health fees. You know, the 175 for the whole season, but then you go live at the falls and you're paying per day. It's the same exact spot.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
we have to
sure.
look at the size of events too, because
Spot.
I would hate to see that like Live at the Falls, which is a smaller event, that fee is the same as doing a bigger festival. And, part of the experience of these smaller events, it does bring people in. I just would hate to see them go away because they're very volunteer driven. We have a lot of local people vending at Live at the Falls, for example, too. And they're not making much money there.
Right,
And
you
if
go for
if you're
the
pulling up a check, I understand you have to check them for health reasons and everything like that. I'm not arguing that, but I also want to be sensitive to the size of the event because those smaller events also make our residential experience better. So I don't want to
agree.
see those go away or
Farmers
those to see
market-
be so watered down where they're not a good
Budget time,
experience.
I look at it as a negative loss. We spend a lot of money on farmers market.
Well, then
But
you
it
need to
is
raise the health fee.
but it is America's oldest farmers market, and outdoor farmers market. And it goes back to 1752 when we were founded. So,
It's not that I'm not saying anything negative against the farmers.
I know what you're saying.
If I were a vendor at the farmers market, which the old Carrie, the old owner was, you pay 175 for the entire season, but so it's almost 32 days. But you go live at the falls for 4 days, you're paying $300.
But that is not, let me just say that the city of Easton sponsors no festivals. The only thing we do is what the Moose does. If it says sponsored by the Moose, it's the Moose.
Right, and there should be fees to cover your costs. Mayor, I understand that, but I'll end with just look at everything and make sure it's fair across the board. That's all I'm saying.
It's a good point.
I appreciate your time.
It's a good point.
All right.
Thanks, Andy.
I agree.
Mayor, why don't, we're gonna send you the draft, and then if you want to, if you feel it's ready, circulate it or discuss it with the council at the next committee meeting.
Okay. Anyone else want to address city council? No?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're out of here.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
Susan,
Yes, sir.
how you doing?
Good, Paul, I gotta go home.
Very good.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Okay.
Actually, if I have time, because I'm gonna be at that. The parking conference, for sure by Friday.
Okay.
All right?
Frank, what's going on?
Not much, what's going on?
If I told you everything, I have to reach my hands.
What's that?
If I told you everything, I have to go like this.
That's a lot of stuff.
How's the wife today, everybody?
Good, good.
Tanya said she was talking to you like the other day, I think, text my brother and do. I'll pay the whatever.
Oh, on the Facebook
Yeah.
Messenger, yeah, probably. Susan, tell me who she
Okay.
was.
Classmates. Your wife does,
Because that way you're not.
Well, she works for McKesson.
But everyone knows what reports are, we get the reports. And then if somebody believes that or if there's gonna be some action taken for the committee. Any public comment, please? Nobody ever does public comment, right? Because it's hard, because you're supposed to just sit there, it's supposed to just be comment, just listening, right? Not question and answer time. But. So, I'm so confused by that. So,
We never used to have an agenda.
was there no agenda for committee? I didn't